Well, good evening, everyone. Meteorologist Michael Wilhite here with Southern Indiana Weather, bringing you the latest long-range update. Man, what beautiful weather we have had today. Such a refreshing change from the hard freeze that we had, along with the frosty conditions earlier in the week. Man, that was brutal to wake up to, but we certainly hit the reward today. Temperatures in the low 70s around the area. Clear skies pretty well out there. There are some clouds to our south as we sort of zoom in on the area out here a little bit. You notice there is a little bit of rain down to our south here in Kentucky, but for southern Indiana, really nothing going on here. You do see a little bit of false returns. This is just some attenuation on the radars, nothing that's actually falling to the ground. Temperatures here at 6:33 Eastern Time still sitting at 73 in Evansville, 66 as far north as Indy there, 73 over in Louisville. A beautiful evening out there. Warm temperatures going to continue as we head over the next few days too. Now, as far as precipitation wise, we've got kind of a lull in precipitation. That's a good thing. We've had a lot of it lately. Really nothing much going on. There's some of those light showers that we see down over Kentucky right now. They're not going to amount to much. There is a hint on the modeling that it might come as far north as us. I don't buy that one bit. I think that we're going to stay pretty well dry out of this. I think it'll stay down to our south. We got several dry days coming up, and it's just going to be beautiful weather. As we get into next week, there will be a period where we get a few days with some showers in there, with some shower chances. I don't see it being a deluge any of those days right now. The chances don't look better than 60% any of the days right now. We'll see whether that changes as we get a little bit closer to time. Of course, further the way out the models have a harder time seeing things with precision here. But the hint is something is there, sort of a cutoff low that ends up moving through. And it might bring us a few showers for 2 or 3 days there, but it doesn't look anything overly big. That moves off. We got some more dry weather before another round comes in, so we do have some shower chances in the forecast. It's not as if the rain is shutting off altogether, but we've certainly got a little bit of a break coming in, and boy, could we certainly use it. Now, let's look at the why behind the forecast. What's going on with this? Well, it's complete change in the upper layers of the atmosphere. We have been over the past couple of weeks, we have been more on that northwest flow where we have had the jet stream taking a dip over us, bringing us some cooler air down toward Canada, but the source region of our air now is changing completely. So instead of our air coming from Canada, our air is going to be coming more from a southerly direction. Let me put this into motion. What you got here is a ridge of high pressure that has built up over the area, and sort of what you got here is the jet stream going well to our north. As I put this into motion, watch how the jet stream buckles, and what you have by the time you hit next Monday. By the way, next Monday could be a major warmth day. We may hit 80 around here. I've got 79 in the forecast due to some cloud cover that I think is going to come in, but I think 80 could be reachable for some of us around here. Let's look at what we got going on. I just want you to notice the just absolute complete pattern change that we've got going on here. Got a big ridge of high pressure here. Let me change my coloring here, and we'll paint this out. You've got low pressures over here. What we call this is an omega block, and the reason why we call it omega block, here's how the winds are flowing around this, and it's just like the big Greek letter omega. So really what we have got going on here is basically we did have the jet stream sort of taking a nosedive over us and going like this. Now we got a complete reversal. So instead of Canada being the source region, now we've got Mexico, and the Gulf of Mexico points to our south being the source region for everything. And of course, what that is going to lead for us is much warmer weather. And it looks like that warmer weather is going to last. An omega block will break down and allow a little disturbance to move through. That brings us some showers next week. But notice what happens right after that. Right after that, as we head into the longer term, what we've got going on is yet another ridge of high pressure building up here. And so pretty much, again, what you've got going on, we'll label this. Here's your high pressure down to your south. You've got your cutoff low pressure over here, and this is going to sort of spin around like this. Winds around counterclockwise here around a low, and you got winds moving clockwise around the high pressure. So you got that southerly flow going on it again, and you got this southeast ridge that's really going to pump that warmth in there, and it looks to me like April is pretty much going to remain above normal the rest of the month through that. Climate Prediction Center agrees. As we take a look at their latest outlooks, you can see pretty much almost all of the nation here, above normal the next 6 to 10 days. Same as you head out over 8 to 14 days. That's a big change in the pattern compared to what we had. Of course, if you watched some of my previous videos, I told you the last half of the month is going to be much different than the first. It's exactly what we're seeing. Precipitation-wise is the same too. Some below normal precipitation coming to us over the next 6 to 10 days. Might change a little bit as we get into the 8 to 14 day, that above normal nudging into us. I don't think it's going to be one of these situations we're going to be facing an immediate drought where the faucet's just turned off. I do think that we're going to see some rain showers come through here from time to time, but at least it's going to dry off, at least for a little bit of time. That's good if you're a farmer, you're wanting to get out in your field, you're itching to get out there. You're going to have those opportunities coming up. The warm weather is certainly going to dry those things out a little bit. In fact, as we look at temperatures in the long term, just look at these beautiful temperatures. Really, as far as the eye can see, we had a beautiful days here in the 70s coming up. It's even the GFS ensembles here, even hinting at 80 for Monday. I've got 79 officially in my forecast. Due to the clouds, I think that could come in, but 80 certainly reachable. I wouldn't argue with it. We will see whether that happens or not. Then as far as the eye can see, well above normal temperatures, our normal high right around 65 this time of the year. We're going to be 10 to 15 degrees above normal the way things look for this. So certainly we'll take it. A warm spring was my forecast for spring, by the way. If you watch some of my earlier videos, you'll notice I said we'll likely have a warm spring, and I said that, that doesn't mean that we couldn't have a cool snap, but that cool snap would probably be short-lived. That's exactly what we've seen. We had a very warm March, and we've had a couple of weeks here in April that were a little bit cool, and people started to wonder, but I said the warmth would come back, folks. It's returning, and it's returning in a big way. We will likely hit the 80s this month before we head out April, above normal the rest of the month. May looking pretty much above normal as well. So here's your 10-day forecast. You can go to southernindianaweather.com, click on 10-day to get this. A few clouds tomorrow in the afternoon, but still plenty of sunshine. 70s as far as the eye can see, flirting with 80 on Monday. Just really beautiful weather. And again, maybe a few showers here on Monday. I've only got it in on one day for right now, and then on Friday as well, sort of clearing out. We'll see how much that holds together. There's still some uncertainties. There will be a disturbance that moves through, but we just don't know exactly at this point how big that disturbance will be. I don't think it's going to be anything major at this point, but still lots of warmth as we head over the next 10 days. Well, let's talk about seasonal forecast then. Let's get into a little bit of the summer. I've already discussed a little bit then about spring and how we knew it was going to be warm. Summer, what are we thinking about it as far as what we can see? Well, the modeling right now is sort of all over the place right now, as you would expect. Let me show you the reason why first before we even get into the modeling. Let's look at this. First off, again, of course, this winter we've been in El Nino. That's going to rapidly decay. We're going into a La Nina for next winter, so that'll be different conditions. And here's what we've got going on. Here we are now at the very beginning of April here, and you can see all of these lines are different ensemble members of the model, and the dashed line here being the median of that. It takes us into neutral conditions out in the Pacific Ocean there around the equator here about May or June, and then we very quickly go into a La Nina. In fact, by the time this winter comes, we're going into a pretty strong La Nina. In the past, whenever we have had a sharp transition from a strong El Nino to a strong La Nina like this, we had a very hot and dry summer. Now, that's just sort of looking back historical over La Ninas, what they have had in the past, the effect that they've had on us. Now, of course, we do have some things here that we've never seen with a La Nina. That's a strong La Nina that starts to develop over the summer. We've never had a positive PDO that we've recorded with one of these. A positive PDO, that's this warm blob of water here under the Gulf of Alaska. It's been around here the past few years, really, and it's still kicking in, and it's still strong. If we look at the temperature change in the ocean over the last 7 days, it's actually warming, so we're still holding on strong to those above normal temperatures. There's our El Nino right down here, but you notice it is certainly fading compared to maps I've showed you in the past. It's going to continue to fade and fade pretty rapidly. This is sticking on, though, so it'll be interesting to see if this can negate any of the effects of La Nina. Only time will tell that. It's uncharted waters. We've not seen that yet. If anything, a positive PDO tends to bring us a pretty active storm track and rain with it, with La Nina tending to shut it down. So it will be a war between the two, just like we had a war all winter long. Who was going to win? Was it going to be El Nino, or was it going to be the blob, as this is affectionately called by meteorologists in the National Weather Service? Would the blob win? Would El Nino win? El Nino won out most of the time. Is La Nina going to win, or is the blob going to win? time will tell. It could, if anything, I think the blob would help mitigate those effects just a little bit. So let's talk about the seasonal models and what are they showing then. Well, first let's talk about temperatures. This is the JAMSTEC model. JAMSTEC, usually a very reliable model, but it blew it completely over the winter. It had a horrible winter forecast. So we take it with a grain of salt, but it's saying pretty much all of the country seeing above normal temperatures as we go in the June, July, August, summer months. What about precipitation? It's actually predicting a drought here for the Midwest, very much below normal precipitation. Now, if it were a normal La Nina summer, I would certainly agree with that. That's what we see is a hot and dry sort of summer. And when the rains shut off, they shut off. Not so fast, though. We got that blob to contend with. That may keep some of the rains going. I certainly don't see us in an above normal precipitation pattern. I don't think we're going to see that. But I don't think we're looking at a major drought of 2012 all over again. I really don't see that for us. Do think that we're going to see some rains this summer, but I wouldn't be surprised if we ended up a little bit drier than normal over the summer due to the La Nina. I have a feeling the La Nina will probably win out, just like El Nino did this winter, and probably sort of overpower that blob. But I think the blob will help to mitigate it just a little bit. Here's another model, though, the UK Met model from the United Kingdom, their Met Office. And this is a fairly reliable model, too. I like its thoughts on this. And this is for temperatures, June, July, and August. This is its thoughts. Notice here, we're in the 80th percentile for being above normal this summer. So 80% chance, according to this model, that it's going to be hotter than normal for us around here. Only a less than 20% chance that we have near normal temperatures this summer, and less than a 20% chance of being below normal temperatures this summer. The winter certainly here is above normal, and I agree with that. I think we are looking at a very warm summer. I don't think it's going to be screaming hot. We're in the hundreds all the time. I might have to eat my words. Hope I don't. Certainly don't want that. But I do think we're going to see 90s pretty frequently this summer, the way things look, unfortunately, for you guys that don't like that. It looks like a precipitation then. What's this model predicting on precipitation? Well, prediction of above normal precipitation, only about a 20% chance of it being above normal for us here. Near normal precipitation, actually closer to 40%, and probability of below normal precipitation here about 20%. So that's, well, that's good news. It's not as aggressive on the precipitation forecast of being below normal as what the JAMSTEC model is showing, but overall it's just kind of up in the air, and I kind of tend to agree with this. I don't think it's going to be a major drought winter, but you know, for you folks that follow the drought monitor, I wouldn't be surprised if we end up at later on this summer sometime having so little rain that we end up, you know, in D0, kind of the abnormally dry stage somewhere around this region. I wouldn't be so shocked at that at all. I wouldn't be surprised at that all this summer. When you have a El Nino go into a La Nina situation, you do end up going a little bit drier than normal, and so that's kind of the general pattern that I would expect. How dry could we get? Well, again, I don't think it's going to be major, but I certainly think it's going to be drier than normal. So, you know, as for you folks that are farmers out there, keep that in mind as you're planning your, your season out. It certainly could be a little bit drier than normal, so enjoy every little inch of precious rain that we can get while we can get it, because I think we get some over the summer. I just gonna think it may not be as much as we want. There's a strong possibility in that happening when you have a La Nina like this coming. Well, that's about all that we can say about the summer right now. It does look hot. We'll see what it does on precipitation. I could see us being a little bit below normal. Again, probably not a major drought. We will just have to see as the summer develops, but that's the latest thoughts on it right now. Either way, for the time being, folks, we've got some major warmth on the way. Enjoy the warm up the rest of the month. I expect May is going to be a nice and warm month as well, so that will be a nice treat for us. Say goodbye to the winter. Say goodbye to those frosts. I think we may have had our last taste of winter. Let's hope I don't have to eat my words there, but the way things are looking in the extended outlook, no sign of any frost or freeze concerns, probably until we get into October and beyond at this point. And that's good news for everybody who's wanting to get out in those gardens and out into those fields. That's it for this long-range update, folks. I'm meteorologist Michael Wilhite. Have a great night. We'll see you the next time.